Oh, hi, everybody. Thank you for coming to this meeting. Today speaking is Sam Castillo, and he graduated from UMass in 2017, right? And he now works, he has his own company for exam prep for exam PA, and you don't work at Milliman in Chicago anymore though, because you just said you moved, right?
I have 2 weeks more and I'm working for Milliman.
Okay. And also, he's going to explain to us a few things about, you want to talk about like how artificial intelligence is used in the field now, right?
Yeah, I'll talk about the current state of the art of how AI is being used by actuaries.
Very cool. And then just a few other things of interest. So you can go ahead and start.
And at any point, ask me questions.
Okay, so
I'm going to share some slides, but I can stop at any point.
Did you get my email, Sam?
Did I get your email?
Yeah, like with like.
Yes, I did. So
Okay.
I based these slides off of that email.
Okay, awesome.
So this is the UMass Actuarial Insider's perspective. So I'm not under any non-disclosure, well, I'm still under some non-disclosure agreements, but anything regarding my journey or my career is open. I can answer any questions. I wouldn't say that I have the traditional route of an actuary, but it's hard to say what is a traditional actuary because it's kind of like being a lawyer. You learn some skills and then you can apply those skills in a variety of different areas. A bit about me, class of 17, UMass Amherst. I was a math undergrad. I took a number of courses with Eric Summers. I was in the UMass Actuarial Club, as you are now. I passed exam P and exam FM when I was in my senior year. So I was a late bloomer to the actuarial profession in that regard. And then I remember going to the actuarial career fair in the fall, being disappointed because I didn't get an internship right away. And then after graduating, I got an internship with Blue Cross and Blue Shield in Boston, and that was one of my first. That was my first like professional experience in the insurance industry. Then I started work at Willis Towers Watson in Boston, working with customer loyalty programs, so airlines and hotel chains. Any of the big hotel chains that you can think of, like Marriott or Comfort Inn, or basically any big airline or hotel. We also had a few international clients, which was interesting. Basically, we create financial forecasts for how expensive it is when these companies give you back points. Then for the last year, I've been working with Milliman in the health insurance space as a predictive modeler, predicting what the cost will be for people who apply for health insurance. At the same time, I've made a website, exampa.net, which is a online professional training resource for actuaries who are learning predictive modeling. And there's a book online that anyone can view that provides all of the content that's on the real PA exam. So if you want to see what actuaries are learning today with regard to machine learning, you can see that. to try to be as helpful as possible, I can share with you my exact preparation techniques for taking exams. There are a lot of different study methods. Different people have different schedules. Some things work well for other people. I definitely didn't follow this routine perfectly through all of the exams. Right now, I still have one exam left and online modules before I reach an ASA. At that point, I'm going to focus on a more broad career skill set. That being said, continuing on to an FSA would be a viable option because I'm in sort of a niche area. However, it seems to be more useful if I diversify. So what I would do is I would read the ASM study manual, go through the odd problems only, and just go as quickly as I can. It's called the first pass, where I just try to do like 5 problems of each topic. Don't use your calculator. And by that, I mean, once you become familiar with the calculator and you know how to do arithmetic, you can actually save significant time by just writing out your answer and then checking your answer with the solution. Also using flashcards, you have to memorize a lot of formulas. Like for exam P, you have to memorize a bunch of probability distributions and so forth. You can use the ordinary paper flashcards, or you can use an app such as Anki, which helps to facilitate the memorization process. Because honestly, a lot of these intro exams is just memorization. Then a few weeks before the exam, I would go into a cave and just do as many practice exams as I could. Then the day before the exam, I would take a break, go for a walk, go bowling, hang out with friends, just try to completely relax, get as much sleep as possible. And then overall, found that being healthy and cutting out distraction, especially like the weeks leading up to the exam, even getting rid of a smartphone entirely, trying to limit email notifications, just for like a short period leading up to the exam, was really helpful in being successful. So I didn't fail an exam, fingers crossed, because I still have one more to go. Resumes are key. The industry now is really competitive. I see like on Reddit, people upload their resume and get feedback from other people. There are career resources you can use. So the resume is still a key part of how you market yourself and get job interviews. The way that I sort of, so what worked well for me was building up experience that I could talk about. So I made a blog, and I didn't, so I made this blog actually as I was at UMass in a student club. It's called UGrid, Undergraduates Interested in Data. And someone from the group shared how you could make a GitHub blog. Let's see, castillo.github.io. It's very basic, it's very simple. I would just upload these different articles. Like I'll go back to one of my early articles. Boston Moving Day. So I just do some analysis, upload it, and then on my resume, I would put a link to my blog. And this right here is actually an application that looks at data from the city of Boston for moving permits. So,
Hey Sam, I can't see. Are you looking at something?
oh, really? Do you not see my browser?
Now we do.
Yeah.
Okay, now you do. So this was my blog. It's still out there, and I would just upload articles. These started with class projects. At the end of the semester, I would just go back through my projects and type things up, and then I put a link on my resume, and this really helped me to stand out. Like this right here is this is an application in Tableau that took me like a few hours to create. But I put it on my resume, and then I could talk about it in interviews. And what this is showing is moving permits in the city of Boston. So every September, people move in and out of the city. And so like 80% of everyone who moves during the September months. So this is just a map where you can zoom in and look at it, all of the moving permits. And there were other resources like I started out with class projects and then expanded. So these were from, I'm assuming, let me get rid of this. Independent projects. This project was from a time series course. So in November of 2017, maybe some of you remember when Bitcoin suddenly blew up and became really, really valuable. It went from like $1,000 a Bitcoin to like $8,000. And so this was an app that keeps track of Bitcoin prices over time. And all of this began with a stats time series course at UMass Amherst that was taught by Pen Wang. And he was involved with the Mass Mutual Data Science Development Program. Eric, is that still going on?
Yes, it is. We'll have a talk next week from someone from that program.
Cool. This other project was from, I think it was Stats 525. It was statistical computing, where I learned R for the first time. So here I was looking at IMDb keywords. For each movie, IMDb has a list of keywords. Like the movie Batman might have keywords superhero and Robin, and the movie Frozen might have, princess and icicle or something else. And you can compare movies based on the keywords, basically. And so it looks like this isn't loading. And so this was my presentation from, Stats 597A, statistical computing. There we go. I would just save everything on GitHub. And so here's a network graph that compares different movies together based on the similarity. So that was my strategy. I kept building up projects on a resume. And then for job interviews, I would practice on selling them. So I would take out a phone or use my laptop camera and record myself just talking through the interview, pitching the project in a few sentences. Two YouTubers who I would recommend who really helped me are this guy Denise Sassal and Oren Caliph, who showed me how to just sell things effectively, how to create good presentations, how to speak clearly. And finally, doing research around how your background can add dollar value to the job. Even if it's as simple as an internship, being able to say, something along the lines of, my experience in subject X can save your consultant's time. Like, as an intern, I would proofread documents, which was as simple as just reading over a professional document that an actuary would write for grammar, for typing mistakes. So if I was going to do an interview for an internship, I could say, I took this professional business writing course. I got an A in the course, and from there I learned how to proofread really very quickly. And if you're writing official reports, I can save your actuary's time by proofreading, because professional actuaries are going to bill their time at like $500 per hour. So if they can have an intern come in where they only have to pay $25 per hour to proofread, that saves them significant money. So trying to be very, very practical about how I sell myself in interviews was a big factor. Daily life can be whatever you want it to be. I've focused on what I wanted to do. I was in Boston to start out in the Prudential Center, and then I was in Chicago. And this is one of the perks of the profession. I didn't fully appreciate just how awesome it is to be able to live in the city when I was just entering the profession. But it's really nice. This is the building in Chicago that I was at, and just being able to travel, experience the city, try so many different restaurants, and meet different people was really one of the most rewarding parts of the profession. And there are also opportunities for business travel. I'm not one who really likes to travel. I personally just don't like the process of going to the airport and getting on a plane and having to change my routine. But my coworkers who really like to travel are able to take advantage of that. If you want to get really good at selling, at marketing, and going to client meetings, then after a few years on the job, there's a huge demand for actuaries who can travel and who can meet one-on-one with clients. And these are in most of the major cities in the US. Eventually, there are international opportunities. In my first job at Willis Towers Watson, we had clients from Greece, Japan, Mexico. I worked remotely with software developers who were in Paris. So once you get more experience, if you like travel, that's another perk of the actuarial profession. The AI is broadly how computers replace humans in solving problems that involve thinking. So anytime a person has to make a decision, that can be replaced by AI. So insurance is all about data. Insurance companies have hundreds of millions of records. They know your personal history. They know what prescription drugs you've taken, your credit history, your criminal history, every single diagnosis that you've gotten from a doctor is somewhere in a database. And AI can use that in order to assess how expensive you will be. So in my role as a predictive modeler, we would use pharmacy history, medical history, credit history. We even did development into criminal history, and our goal is to predict either how long you will live or how expensive you will be. And so what AI does is it allows you to take all of that information and to make predictions into the future. So there are a few articles here. This first article is talking about the different data sources. You have video data sources where deep learning can track objects. So in auto insurance, they can put cameras on cars that will record your driving behavior. So they can say, this person is a risky driver, this person is a safe driver. We'll charge the risky driver more for their insurance than we will for the safe driver. For audio and text, they can read your health level just by you're talking on the phone, for instance. So a life insurance company could tell if someone's a smoker or not, and then charge that person more for their insurance because they'll be more expensive based on a deep learning model. Sensor technology. So aerial drones are currently used for assessing property risk. Storm damage is a good example. A hurricane crashes into the coast of Florida, damages thousands of properties. Insurance companies have to know how expensive it will be to repair those properties. They can look at satellite photos, which will automatically predict the damage to each property using AI. There are many other opportunities of using AI in insurance, and it's currently a very, very big field of development. Or just do a Google search for AI insurance, and you'll find a lot of new companies that are starting out. There's a huge demand for that skill set for actuaries who can understand statistics and programming. Those are the slides that I have for you. Are there any questions? It looks like everyone is muted.
I have a question.
Yes.
What is your favorite part about or any of your jobs that you've had in this field?
I like to know that I'm making a big difference. When I was as a predictive modeler, the product that I was working on was impacting millions of people. I think the number was about 7 million Americans per year would be fed through our model. And so knowing that many people can be impacted was really motivating. In my job as working with customer loyalty programs, I could see like individual travel patterns for people. Like customers would earn points in the summer months, and then they would travel in the winter, during the holidays. And this was for people all over the world. And then more recently, creating an online course where I'm teaching other actuaries and able to see how other people are able to use the tutorials that I'm creating in order to pass their exam is really helpful. The common theme, I think, is knowing that I'm making a difference and I'm improving people's lives. It doesn't have to be something very glamorous. Helping someone pass an actuarial exam by creating a tutorial, isn't as glamorous as building a model that impacts 7 million people. But just knowing that I'm making a difference is the common theme. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. And from a more practical perspective, the stress levels are great. The coworkers, everyone I've worked with has been very, very professional, high caliber, friendly. Actuaries get a reputation for being somewhat closed off, but I haven't seen that at all. Perhaps it's because I've been working more in the consulting world, but actuaries know how to party and have a good time just like everyone else. And you can make it whatever you want to be, I would say.
It looks like someone has a question in the chat.
In the chat. Could you read the
Yeah.
question? I don't see it.
Okay, it says, how did you learn AI? It's at the bottom.
I started with courses at UMass, statistics courses, taking programming courses online, like on Data Camp. The SOA's Predictive Analytics exam is AI. Predictive Analytics is AI. Even statistics is a prerequisite. Exam P will teach you the very basics of what's needed for understanding AI. And getting programming experience is really valuable. So the two languages are either R or Python. Either one is good to learn. Are there any other questions?
Someone said, same person said, how did you, can you see it now?
Yes. So the SOA is the Society of Actuaries, which handles all life products, which is life insurance, health insurance, and pensions. The CAS is the Casualty Actuarial Society. This covers auto insurance, homeowners insurance, any other type of building insurance or business insurance. Cyber insurance is an example. Like say that a website keeps track of credit history, credit card information for millions of people. There's a liability. If there's a data breach, they can be sued millions of dollars. And so they need to have cyber insurance to protect against that event. So they would hire a CAS actuary. As a modeler working with customer loyalty programs, I was under the CAS umbrella. Right now, I'm under the SOA umbrella, modeling for health. I didn't really choose. I just applied for both jobs and went with whatever job had the best options.
I have a question.
Yes.
So I'm still choosing between statistics and actuarial as a track. I'm a rising junior, and both of them just seem really similar. And it seems like if you take statistics, you can still cover a decent amount of actuarial portion in it, but not vice versa. And I'm interested in the finance world, not necessarily basically what what you're working as. I want to like diversify more. So do you have any suggestion as what I should look at before I decide a switch or which major I decide?
I would say I know actuaries who have come from both. So actuaries can have a pure math degree, others can have a computer science degree or finance. It depends on what you really are inspired to do. I would say the most important thing is that you're motivated and that you want to succeed in whatever it is that you're doing. So whatever kind of lights you up, gets you excited, focus on that.
Can I follow up to that?
So, sorry?
I just had a follow-up question.
Yeah.
So in deciding between stats and actuarial, one of the most important things is I don't want to restrict myself to insurance. If I do actuarial, am I restricting myself if I pick that major to insurance? Or
Yeah.
I am.
If you're specifically an actuarial major and you spend time taking actuarial exams, most people out of the actuarial profession don't know how difficult the actuarial exams are. Actuaries do. So like if you put actuarial exams in your resume and apply to data science positions, you will not get that much attention. I tried that. I wasn't very successful at applying to data science positions because other people who instead of taking actuarial exams were focusing on taking Udemy courses and getting like data science internships, and so they were ahead of me. But when I applied to actuarial internships, I was further ahead because I had actuarial exams. The real reason why people take exams is because when you're a credentialed actuary, you can sign official documentation, so you can take on the legal risk that is needed in order to provide services for any type of financial liability. Data scientists can't do that.
I could say one thing about your specific question when deciding between actuarial and stats. I'm doing both of them because they overlap so much except for one class. You can either take Math 411 or Math 545. But other than that, they overlap completely, and you can like do some electives for one and it transfers to the other and vice versa. So if you want to do both, that would probably not be much harder.
That helps me out. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It was a UMass course initially. It was with Peng Wang, who was the head of the Mass Mutual Data Science Development team. I took a first course in R and I liked it, and so I tried to take as many other R programming courses. How would someone choose between SOA and CAS when being certified in exams? They are the same for the first few exams, for P, FM, and IFM. And then I think after that they diversify. So you need to choose one or the other. But for the first few exams, it doesn't matter.
Hey Sam, I had a question about your new company is about the PA exam, and I was wondering if you just say a little bit about how the exams fit together, like because PA is like you need to know Python or R.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's also this, is it SRM, which is also like a statistical modeling exam? Like, do you have to do that one before PA?
Technically, you can take the preliminary exams in any order that you choose.
Okay.
That being said, there is a natural flow. So it starts out with basic probability and basic financial math, exam P and FM. And then there's financial economics and investments, which are in IFM, investments in financial models, I think. And then there's SRM, statistics for risk modeling. That's basically, I think, Stat 525. It's regression analysis, ANOVA testing, and so forth. And then there's exam PA or exam LTAM. Oh, I'm talking about the SOA exams. CAS exams are similar. So you had PFM, IFM, SRM, and then you have exam PA, which is predictive modeling, and this is a programming course. So it's based in R, and it covers the intro machine learning topics. So technically you could take that before taking any of the others. It's helpful to have that background, but the other exams are all pencil and paper. And so if you're at university and you have a lot of programming knowledge in your head, it might actually be a good time to take exam PA. And then there is also there are two other exams before you get to ASA, long-term actuarial math and short-term actuarial math, which are both pencil and paper. So if someone was starting out and they weren't sure, do I want to do actuarial on the long term? What you could try is take exam P and FM and then apply for some internships, maybe take SRM or exam PA, and see if you like the programming aspect or you like more of the traditional actuarial aspect.
I have a question about R. Are there any courses like outside of UMass that you would recommend taking, or would you say Stat 525 is it's like a good teacher of that course? Or are there any other ones at UMass that would be good to take?
Yeah, that's a good question. Right now, it's easier than ever to learn programming. I would recommend you look at DataCamp. DataCamp is a website where universities will host their programming courses. So there'll be courses from the best colleges in the U.S. With online courses. There's also Udemy. Udemy is a platform where professors will create their own course and then upload them. Honestly, it's been a few years since I've looked at our programming courses. So if I recommend a course, it might be out of date by now because the content updates so quickly that even a year or two can make a difference.
So you said R or Python because one of the tests is based on that. So you
Yeah.
can just choose. I don't know anything about Python, so.
Most actuaries know R. Python is a little bit more difficult. It's more used by the data science community in general. Python's very useful though. So if someone's seriously considering data science, Python is essential.
I could maybe just chime in for the audience more, just to say that Stat 535, which Sam took as Stat, what was it, 597A, Stat Computing.
Yeah.
So the person teaching it now is teaching it in Python. So it's kind of interesting. I worry a little bit that it's more of a straight Python course because the project you described, I don't know. I remember when you took it, there was really like a lot of like really focused on the statistical computing and the data. So that's a good Python course. And now as far as R courses, there's a 1-credit public health course who I think it's like, is it 390 or 360? And then KICS, the computer science department or college, has a 1-credit R course pretty much all the time. So public health and CS have these 1-credit R courses, and we also run a 1-credit R course, I think, in the spring. But maybe that's not enough, not enough. And then Stat 525 is mostly in R. And then finally, for those of you who've been reading your emails carefully, Stat 297F that Krista Guile will offer is going to be an intro to R course as well. I won't ask who reads all those emails that I send all the time. Sorry to interrupt, Sam. I just wanted to let them know.
I have a question, sorry. So I heard that, I don't know if it's true, but like Stat 535 maybe is not being offered to undergrads anymore. One of those 500 level ones isn't. Do you know which one I'm talking about, or is this just not true?
Is this to me? So the way the Stat group has set it up in the fall, 535 is mostly for graduate students, but undergrads can join by writing to the instructor. And there should be at least like 10 spots, but the version in the spring is exclusively for undergrads. And
every spring? So like if you take it in the spring, that's the undergrad one?
That will have all undergrads. If you take it in the fall, it'll have a mixture of undergrads and grads.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
I have a question for the follow-up of the 597A. There's a course in Python, ComSci 119, which is an intro to Python course. Would you say this, the Python course in math complements it, or would it just be a next level in the intro Python course?
Oh, sorry, that's me. Definitely the Stat 535 is going to be much more advanced than the 119 course. From what students have told me is pretty easy course. Like, sorry for the screaming in the background.
Yeah, it's a very basic course.
I see 2 questions in the chat. What if I never finish all the exams? Can I still work in the field? Yes. You will not get paid as much, however. But me, for instance, I'm stopping when I get to ASA. So if I stop taking exams, it means that we'll just stop getting the raise. So for each exam, you get a raise of like a few thousand, which adds up incrementally as you pass all of the exams. So I know several actuaries who've also stopped at ASA, and they continue to find ways of being useful. Really, when you start out, your compensation is based strictly on your exams. Once you become more acquainted with the industry, compensation is more based on your performance. How much are you actually valuing? How much value are you adding to the business every year? That's a question that you have with your manager that determines your salary. Another question is, does being an actuary require a lot of interpersonal skills? It doesn't. So it's up to you. If you'd like to be more solitary, I know a lot of really successful actuaries who are awesome introverts, and they're really good at what they do. They don't necessarily like being around people every single day. I'm pretty introverted, but I make a point of going outside my comfort zone because it allows me to connect with more people and get involved in more fun projects. But yes, having strong interpersonal skills is invaluable because a lot of people can't do it. It's sort of it's in high demand to be able to speak clearly, sell persuasively, write smoothly, even write really professional emails. every little bit of polish and charm goes a long ways.
For the exams, like when you keep taking them, is there like different positions at each rung? Like you, like say you take another one, like you're doing it in preparation for another position, or are you just doing it to stay in the same position but get paid more? Like what's the purpose of taking them?
Both increasing your skills and getting paid more. When you start out, your compensation is basically tied to your exams. You can see here, D.W. Simpson, which is an actuarial recruiting firm, publishes survey data on actuarial salaries. And these are based on years of experience and exams. So here you can see how the average salary changes. So as if you have 1 year of experience and you have 4 exams passed, you'll almost be at an ASA, could be making between 56 and 78.
Wow.
So you can, get a lot of exams while you're still in college, or you can focus on just getting experience. Either way, you can keep climbing up the ladder.
So so you said you wanted to stop taking, you're done with the exams. Is it like because you just like where you're going to go with what you have now, or like you just hate taking the exams, or is there a reason why you just don't want to take them anymore?
That's a great question. It depends on, so there's an opportunity cost because exams take, they say 100 hours per hour of exam. So if an exam is 3 hours, it costs 300 hours of time. If I was going to be working as an actuary for another 20 years, the additional salary would pay off, right? Because I would continue to earn at a higher rate for another 30 years. So it would be very reasonable to pass all the exams. But if I'm not going to be working as an actuary, then it doesn't have that same payoff.
Gotcha.
I have another question about these exams. Would you say that giving these exams should be one of our top priorities in our junior and senior years, and especially be in FM, maybe even SRM before senior year, and then continue to the next exams? Or can we, yeah, basically that. Do you think that's a good idea?
Yeah, getting an internship is really key, and having exams is a prerequisite to getting your resume even looked at. If you've ever applied to an intro actuarial position, you might see a common question is, do you have at least 2 exams passed? Yes or no. If you say no, often your resume will not even be looked at.
Right. Thank you. How easy would it be after getting an actuary? Firstly, actually, did you do a master's in anything? Have you worked towards a master's?
I have not.
So would you say a master's is necessary if you just, as compared to just studying for these exams and working an internship after your senior year?
I can only speak from my experience. My job at Milliman specifically said on the job title, master's degree. Because I had done a lot of independent projects, I was able to get an interview and they were able to take me on in a more junior position. So a master's is a great way to build up practical experience. In undergrad, a lot of what you're doing is just learning things for the first time. And so it's hard to use what you know. So if you go the route of getting a master's degree, that will almost guarantee you a position. If you're like me and you think that you can do it on your own, you can just take online courses. That's another option as well.
All right, that's great advice. Thank you.
What is an ASA? An ASA is an associate in the Society of Actuaries. So it means that you've passed the first. It means that you've passed the first few exams, and that you can review certain types of documentation. The alternative on the casualty side is the, what is it called? ACAS, Associate in the Casualty Actuarial Society, which means that you pass like the first 6 CAS exams, and also completed a course on professionalism. How do you stay motivated in studying for the exams? I would always try to think about the big picture. I would draw out a timeline and say where I wanted to be, what goals I wanted to complete. So I would try to imagine where I wanted to be, what I wanted to be doing in 1 year, in 3 years time, and then create a roadmap for passing the exams and getting all of the requirements needed to get there.
I have a question about what you said about getting a master's degree. You said, oh, if you get a master's degree, you're almost guaranteed a job. But in what? Like, what would the master's degree be in specifically?
That's a great question. If you instead of getting a degree, you just spend your time passing exams, you will also be able to get a job. What a master's allows you to do is to specialize in something. So if you get a master's in finance, you'll be better prepared for an actual career in finance. That's not what most people do. Most people just get a bachelor's degree and then start passing exams as soon as possible and get a job. Or if you get a master's degree in data science or in analytics, that will give you a lot of technical skills that the exams will not. And so if you're applying to jobs, you will have a huge advantage over others, and you'll be able to work in a different variety of positions. So it's up to you. What are your career goals? Where do you see yourself in 3 years or 5 years? Does your job pay you to study for exams? Yes. So you get paid study hours. So if the exam will require about 300 hours to study, your employer might give you 75 hours, which are paid. So instead of working 40 hours per week, you can work 35 hours per week for a few months leading up to the exam. The rule is for every 1 hour that an employer gives you, you have to put in 2 hours of study on your own. And I found that that's pretty accurate.